And now our final speaker, it's Dr. Rosie Shire from the Doctors Association UK.
Hi, hello. So I'm on the GP committee for the Doctors Association UK, and I'm also a GP partner in Cheshire in the Northwest. I had no idea this was coming, absolutely not. And I was asked to meet with Corey and Rosa to find out about it. And as they know, I was quite skeptical, thinking, well, you know, it's probably nothing. And I was quite horrified when I found out about it. The issues from a GP perspective is the fact that when a patient comes to see me and they tell me things, they trust me. They trust that I'm not going to go and speak to somebody else on the street. I'm not going to publish their information anywhere. As Corey said, that's right. When we're writing stuff up, we have a series of what used to be called read codes. They're now called SNOMED, which automatically, if I start typing blood pressure or hypertension in, it brings up the code and I just click on it and I title each consultation like this. And we use that for things like when we recall patients for their annual blood pressure check or to see who can get their flu vaccination. So everything in your notes will be coded, and the paper notes are coded. Somebody goes through the paper notes, or they did when the paper notes were changed over to computer, and they code all that, put it onto the computer. So everything is there. So it's literally a record of not every visit you've had, but most visits you'll have had to the doctors. That's confidential, and the patient trusts that I'm not going to tell anyone that. What bothers me is that if patients think that I might, or the government might, pass that information on to somebody else, they may not tell me things. So if I want to talk to someone about how they're feeling, so they come in and they tell me that they're not feeling great, they've got quite a low mood at the moment, they're not sleeping well, they don't feel like going out, they've had some stomach pain, not feeling right. And I'll say to them, oh, okay, how much are you drinking, for example, especially at the moment, we know everyone's been indulging a bit more with the pandemic. How much are you drinking? Oh, only a bottle of wine a week, that's it. Instead, actually, they're drinking 4 bottles of wine a night, but they don't want to tell me that because they're worried that I'm then going to put alcohol misuse or alcoholic in their notes, and then that potentially can be sent off somewhere else. As Rosa said, it's pseudonymized, so it has a code attached to it that says patient 123 is an alcoholic, but that can then be unanonymized and linked with other things. So if a patient doesn't tell me this vital piece of information, that the cause of all their symptoms is actually that they're overusing alcohol and they've got a problem, I can't help them, and I'm going to go off completely down the wrong track. So it's eroding that trust, and it's not fair. And it's being made to look like GPs are actually part of this, when actually we're absolutely nothing to do with it at all. It's just the data that's on our computers that is being used. The other thing, apart from the fact GPs didn't really know anything about it, is the fact that we're not being funded in any way for doing this. So I went on last night and found the form and thought, I really need to get this done now or I'm going to forget. And I just thought, I'll fill it in online, I'll email it. You can't, you've got to print it off and sign it. And then you've got to scan it in and email it back to the doctors. Or, as I'm going to do, I'm going to take it down in a minute. So then the receptionists in the practice are going to have to take time out from answering the phones, dealing with patient queries, doing the admin that they normally do, to then add this to my records and then add the code to it. And there's no funding for that. So we're taking the admin staff away from patient care. So at Doctors Association UK, well, obviously we're really concerned about the 3 things really. The fact that the trust in people have in their GP is going to be eroded because of this and the sneaky way that it's been brought in. It's the fact that it's not being funded at all. And then it's also the fact that people aren't consenting to it. And, you know, as doctors, we do consent all the time. And consent doesn't mean if you don't want to, you tell me you don't want to, but I'm not actually going to tell you what it is to start with. So we're really happy to be working with Foxglove and the others on this.